what is our first main topic today?
Okay, guys, the first one is from Randy Tadriff. With Avengers Endgame now in our rearview mirror, I guess we're all just waiting now to find out what's next after Far From Home. Read a report today that Bob Iger said that they'll make a slate announcement this summer about the future of the MCU. Just wondering what you guys think is now on the horizon for the MCU now that Endgame is done.
All right, so that is now the big question. Endgame's done. Where are we going? What's coming up? What's going to be happening with the MCU? Now, before we go into what we know and what we're speculating here about all the upcoming slate about what the MCU is going to be doing, interesting to note that a little piece of information we got to figure in there, and that's that the Russo brothers has just confirmed for us that Marvel and the MCU are going to be introducing their first openly gay character into the MCU, what they call very shortly. Here's what Joe Russo, one of the directors of Endgame, had to say. Pretty soon, we're going to find out, he said, when asked about the MCU's record of LGBTQ representation. You know, there is a gay character coming up in one of Marvel's films. I think Kevin Feige will make that announcement, I'm sure, pretty soon. So we've got that little bit of information from one of the Russo brothers. So we got to take that in consideration when considering this. Now, here's what we know, and here's what we're guessing about the upcoming Marvel slate. Right now, there are 8 dates that have been reserved for upcoming Marvel films, okay? We got May 1st, 2020, November 6th, 2020, February 12th, 2021, May 7th, 2021, November 5th, 2021, February 18th, 2022, May 6th, 2022, and July 29th, 2022. Now notice that for 2020, they're on a little bit of a different schedule. There's not 3 films, there's only 2. That much we've known. Now, in yellow is what I'm putting as my speculation about what they're coming. But this is all based on information that we've already been given. We know that Black Widow's going into production. So I think the safest bet is that May 1st, 2020 film that's coming out is indeed going to be the Black Widow movie. I think that's the absolute safest bet. For the November 6th, 2020, we've also known that they have had their director on board. They've been working on Doctor Strange in pre-production for quite a while. I think the safest bet for the second 2020 release is going to be Doctor Strange 2. That brings us into 2021 and the February 12th date. Now, we know they've been talking a lot about Eternals. We've been hearing a bunch of casting. That, I believe, is the next furthest along, and I think we're going to be getting that one next. I think it's going to be the first film up in 2021. That's going to be the Eternals. Now, speaking of directors already being brought on board, and they're already developing their stories, we know Ryan Coogler was officially brought back on board for Black Panther. So my best guess is that May 7th, 2021 is going to be Black Panther 2. That brings us to Shang-Chi. Rob, I know you were really excited about this movie.
I am excited about
I'm excited about this movie, too. That one seems to be the one trailer along behind, so I believe that's going to be the November 5th, 2021, which brings us to February 8th of 2022. Of course, James Gunn has been brought back on for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He, however, still has to do Suicide Squad, so I think it will be either the February 18th or the May 6th one, but I think it's going to be the February 18th, 2022 for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We know that Kevin Feige has said multiple times that Captain Marvel is now kind of leading the way for the MCU. We've heard no official word on when something else is coming out yet, but I think it's a pretty safe bet that in either that February 18th or May 6th thing, we're going to get Captain Marvel 2. And that then leads us into the July 29th, 2022, 3 years after Endgame. I believe we're going to get an Avengers 5. What that Avengers team will look like, I'm not really sure. I don't think anybody's sure at this point of what that's going to look like, but I think that's what we're looking for Avengers 5. The one thing that throws a little bit of a wrench in all these, the dates in white that we know are for sure, and the yellows that are based on educated guesses, is that where does this thing about an openly gay character that Joe Russo was talking about come into play? Because if he was talking about a gay character that is just going to be in another one of these movies, it could be for any of these. It could be Captain Marvel herself. It could be, somebody in Shang-Chi. It could be anything. If it's somebody in their own lead movie, that could disrupt this. Maybe Captain Marvel 2 isn't in 2022. Maybe it's something else. But anyway, Rob, you're looking at this kind of schedule. What is your guessing for all this, and how does that kind of all shape up?
Well, I think those guesses are pretty solid guesses. I could see Shang-Chi and Black Panther maybe switching places, depending, only because Black Panther probably has a larger cast, harder to schedule, whereas Shang-Chi, we've got pretty much an all-new cast. I think it looks pretty good. I think you've done a solid job here speculating. It's funny. I would think after Thor's that we would see a Thor 4 somewhere.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, we don't know. But it looks like we're going to be getting Marvel movies. And as far as an openly gay character, I don't know. I mean, I was thinking, are they going to make like Doctor Strange gay? I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, they can't do that because they've already established his love interest and all that kind of stuff.
That's true.
So I don't think they can do it. But Thor 4.
Yeah.
You brought up Thor 4. I was thinking about that too. The only reason I don't have it on that list is because my assumption at this point, and it may not be real, but my assumption at this point is that Guardians 3 will come before Thor 4. That's my guess.
Yep.
And since that Guardians 3 is so late on the list, I'm thinking we might be looking at 2023, 2024 for an actual Thor 4. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. The Guardians aspect of it is that's very astute of you. I mean, it's funny just because his popularity is so high.
Yeah.
You go from Ragnarok to Infinity War where he kicks so much ass, and then even though a lot of people are up in arms about Fat Thor, that storyline, I liked it a lot, and I think it takes that character in a different direction. And of course, I'm sure we're going to see him get back into shape. And Hemsworth is such a great comedic presence. They just announced that movie he's doing with the comedy movie that he's doing with the
from Girls Trip.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember the name of the movie now, and I can't remember the name of the movie. But yeah, she was just
like
also Queen.
Far Down Under or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So his career is blowing up, and people love him. So I would think we'd get a Thor movie. And like you said, I don't know what an Avengers movie is going to look like, but we've got Marvel movies coming out our ears at least for the next 4 years. So, and that's without an announcement. I mean, that speculation is without an announcement. Maybe they're going to announce a 4th movie every year. Who knows?
Yeah, well, right now we've only got 2 in 2020, but Bob Iger did say there is going to be coming a full announcement of the slate this summer. I'm still thinking it's going to be D23. Some people think it might be Comic-Con, but I think it's going to be one of those two. I think it's absolutely going to be one of those two. We'll find out how that goes.